On today's episode of Chicago Bears Now, we talk contract projections. That is what Pro Football Focus's Brad Spielberger experts in. He knows the cap better than anybody else, and he took a deep dive into both Jaylon Johnson and Montez Sweat and what contract projections could look like. And usually he's pretty accurate with this stuff. So we react, we analyze here on Chicago Bears Now. But before we do that, I just want to gauge the audience. Who is the better overall football player? And I'm not saying who's ranked higher at his position, this and that, who's got a higher ceiling. I'm saying who is a better pure football player in your opinion? If you think Jaylon Johnson's a better player, type JJ. If you think it's Montez Sweat, type MS. Let me know in the comments, Jaylon Johnson, Montez Sweat. And again, I want to pay both, and I assume some of you guys do too. But I'm just curious who you guys think is the better football player, Johnson or Sweat. We're going to start this video with Jaylon Johnson since he's been with the Bears a while, and it's been a hot topic, obviously, with the trade request, him talking to the media and everything. Here was PFF's contract projection for him, and I'll be honest, I was a little surprised. 5-year deal, $95 million, $19 million per year, $47.5 guaranteed, which is just half of the total, right? So it's kind of like a 2.5 plus 2.5 type of structure, I would imagine, that Spielberger cooked up here. And my instant reaction is, look, $19 million feels a little high to me per year, I'll be honest. But maybe the compromise there is only going 50% on the guarantees. That could be a fair compromise. We're like, hey, Jaylon, we're going to give you almost $50 million in guarantees money, but at the same time, we're going to have you slotted in at that $19 million per year. And if you're playing well and you're balling out, we'll keep you throughout that contract, and you can earn more than $47.5 million. And that could be a fair compromise, especially given the fact that Jaylon Johnson does have a minor injury history. Not major injury history, minor injury history, as he has missed some time throughout his NFL career. So I like Jaylon Johnson. I want him to be here, but he has missed 13 games over 4 seasons. That being said, I think that he's certainly worth paying in the way he's played this year in particular, but at times throughout his career, he has shown he can be a CB1 in this league. I do want to dive into a lot of the specifics that Brad is diving into here because he's so good at breaking this stuff down. He said the most recent cornerback contract that wasn't quite top of market, just a stop below, was Cowboys corner Trayvon Diggs, signing a 5-year, $97 million deal, $19.4 million per year. The Chicago Bears may view Johnson as belonging more in the range of Tampa Bay Buccaneers cornerback Carlton Davis. He got a 3-year, $44.5 million extension, average of $14.83 million per year, with $30 million in total guarantees. And that makes me think that maybe that is how they view him, more in that $14, $15, $16 million per year. Maybe Jaylon Johnson's camp wants more like $18 million, $19 million per year in the Diggs range. And look, if that's the case, that's a $4 or $5 million per year gap. That's a pretty significant gap, and that's what Jaylon Johnson's probably talking about when he's like, yeah, it's a wide gap between where we're at and where the Bears are at. So I think he's worthy of more than Carlton Davis. I don't think he should get Trayvon Diggs money. I think he's a better cover guy than Diggs, but Diggs gets so many interceptions that you value that as well. And Johnson even acknowledged that earlier this offseason, like, hey, like, I probably am not going to get Diggs money because of the amount of interceptions he gets. So we'll see where it goes, but I will say this. I think he's closer to Diggs in caliber of player than he is Carlton Davis. So I do want to get that out there. More thoughts on this in a moment. Then we'll get to Montez Sweat as well. But first, today's show sponsored by Game Time. Buying tickets, guys, to a sporting event, comedy show, concert, or anything else, it shouldn't be frustrating. It should be easy and painless, and with Game Time, it is. Game Time's goal is for you to have a peace of mind with your purchase and to help you save as much money as possible when buying your tickets. Whether you're going to a Bears game, an awesome concert, or any other event, Game Time wants you to have the best experience possible. That's why they want you, or they have those flash deals and sales at times, and they show you exactly the vantage point of where you're going to be sitting with their tickets, which a lot of these apps do not do that. I'm a big fan of Game Time because of that. And when we went to the national championship game to watch TCU in Georgia, yeah, my Frogs got spanked. But we knew exactly where our seats were. We bought them the day of. No stress, no problem. Couple hours before kickoff, we got these tickets via Game Time, and they came right to us, and we had a hell of a time, even if the game wasn't that awesome. And we plugged in our promo code, BearsChat, to get $20 off our first order, and you guys can as well. So here's what you do. Download the Game Time app right now, create an account, and use that promo code BearsChat to get $20 off your first purchase. That is code BearsChat after you download the Game Time app in your app store. Create that account, use the promo code, get $20 off. Last-minute tickets for the lowest price guaranteed with Game Time. More from Brad Spielberger on Jaylon Johnson. Last but certainly not least, he says Johnson has not benefited at all over the past 2 seasons from the defensive line in front of him. Great point. It's the exact opposite, as the Bears are generating pressure less often than any other team over that span. While we're not at all sure Chicago would agree to the below, talking about the projection they put out, here's what we think Jaylon Johnson would like to end up with. Players are often care about the total value or average per year and how that stacks up across the position. And I think that last point is important. Jaylon Johnson, the second to last time we heard from him after he had that great game against the Raiders, he was asked, what are you looking for? And he said respect. And I think when he says that, he means I want to be slotted in with some of the best. Not necessarily the best, not top 5. He told us at his presser the other day, I'm not looking to reset the market, but I think he wants to be probably close to Trayvon Diggs, at least above a guy like a J.C. Jackson. So I can see where the gap is, and I actually like this from Spielberger, like, hey, we'll slot you at $19 million per year, but half the total money is going to be guaranteed. So yeah, we're going to give you a big chunk of the pie. We're going to slot you as the 6th, 7th highest paid corner in the NFL, but you're going to have to earn the second half of that contract because you do have minor injury concerns and have missed some time in your career. I think that could be a win-win for both sides. Hopefully a deal like that can happen for Jaylon Johnson in Chicago. Fill in the blank for us. Jaylon Johnson should get blank million per year. What do you guys think? 14, 16, 18, 20? What do you guys think Jaylon Johnson should get? Not what you think he will get or what the Bears are offering. What do you guys think he should get? Like, what would you throw at him if you were running the Bears? Let me know in the comments section. What I believe he will get is 16 to 19 million. Like, I think if he hits the open market, him and L'Jarius Sneed, it's going to create a wage war for teams looking to add a corner. And I think he'll get 16 plus. I really do. And that's why when I did my contract projection, as you look at his stats this year, which have been very, very good, I did 3 for 48, 16 per year with $30 million guaranteed. If I have to get to 18 to get that done, 3 for 54, 35 guaranteed, I'd do that as well. Now, again, Spielberger's going 5-year deal with less percentage guarantee, but more overall dollars. And again, if you're a player, like to me, I just want the most guaranteed possible, regardless of what the percentage of the guarantees are. So we'll see what Jaylon Johnson and the Bears can come up with. Clearly, they're far apart right now, but hopefully that changes. And I still have hope that he can be with this football team. Hit the subscribe button. When the Bears make moves, we make videos, just like we did when they traded for Montez Sweat, when they extended Andrew Billings. We do it all here on this channel, so hit that subscribe button. Don't miss out when the Bears make moves. All right, let's go to Montez Sweat now. Here's the contract projection from PFF. 4 years, $100 million, $25 million per year, $70 million guaranteed. You look at the highest paid edge rushers on a per year basis right now. This would slot him in right above Rashawn Gary, who just got paid by the Green Bay Packers. And you're probably sitting there saying, Myles Garrett? He's not Myles Garrett. Well, if Myles Garrett was a free agent tomorrow, he'd probably top Nick Bosa, $35 million. It's all about when you hit the open market, right? The market always gets reset when top-tier players hit it. Now, Montez Sweat isn't top tier, which is why he wouldn't get $35 million, but he's in that tier 2, and that's where Rashawn Gary is, and that's why he got 4 for 96 with incentives up to 100 plus. And I think that's probably about the range where Montez Sweat and his camp would want to come into play in terms of the pecking order here among the highest paid edge. Brad Spielberger once again here says, we discussed the Rashawn Gary deal and the impact on the position market, but Sweat falls into a different mold of pass rusher, more of a DeMarcus Lawrence type, who is a lead against the run and can win with speed to power as a pass rusher, but he is not the bendy, hyper-explosive pass rusher that Gary is. The top of the market goes to players who possess both abilities, and then the two buckets of players with more specific skill sets filter down from there. And now, even though he's a different skill set type of player to Rashawn Gary, I think he's in the same bucket, the same tier of where he's saying, yeah, Rashawn Gary's pressure win rate is higher than Montez Sweat's, but he's not the run stopper that Montez Sweat is, who he's literally been the best run stopping edge per PFF for 3 years now. So they're in that same tier. Tier 2, we'll call it here, which is why I think a recent player getting a deal of 4 for 96, that's probably the type of range you're looking at for Montez Sweat, which is why Spielberger went 4 for 100, because next guy up usually wants to top the last guy who got paid. Brad again here says, that is not to say Sweat can't rush the passer. Exactly, he can. Far from it. Since 2022, Sweat's 89 pressures rank 11th among edge defenders. His 13.6% pressure rate ranks 25th with at least 250 pass rush snaps, and his 14.5 sacks rank tied for 13th. Then again, I do just want to quadruple down. His PFF run defensive grade, 90.5. Best in the NFL among edge rushers. So sure, is Montez Sweat going to win as a pass rusher 20 to 25% of the time? No, but it's probably going to be 12 to 15%. He is going to be dominant in the run game like a DeMarcus Lawrence is, and he's still going to be productive as a pass rusher. He's a 3-down player, and I think that's why Ryan Poles went this route instead of a Chase Young perhaps. One, he doesn't have the injury history as a Chase Young. He's very durable. And two, you know at minimum what he is, which is an elite run stopper and a good pass rusher. And this year he's having one of his best pass rushing productive seasons ever. From a sack standpoint, he's having his best year ever in terms of on-pace sacks. So I'm excited to get him in here. It's going to be an adjustment, obviously playing in a new scheme next to different defensive linemen, but he's played in both 3-4 and 4-3 already in his career. He should be a plug-and-play type of player here, and that's why I think he's going to get a lot of money. So I'm going to set the over-under at 23.5, which was essentially right below Rashawn Gary. What do you guys think? What do you think he'll get? $23.5 million per year. Type M for more. Type L for less. I think he gets more. I think he's getting at least 24. He's going to match that Rashawn Gary deal, I would think, if not top it. So I'm typing M for more. What say you down in the comments? All right, a couple more from Brad Spielberger with the added leverage of Chicago moving what figures to be a top 40 draft pick for his services. Here's where we see a deal ending up. And the point of this last quote I wanted to mention is that the Bears don't have crazy leverage. Sure, they have the franchise tag, which is expected to be less than $21 million per year, but are you going to piss off a player you just traded for? Like, are you going to play that game if you're Ryan Poles? I don't think so. I think you're going to get him locked up to a long-term contract extension and go from there. So I expect him to pay up. I don't think you trade a second-round pick and try to get some kind of discount on Montez Sweat. Keep the guy happy, get him ingrained into this locker room, and you go from there. That's how I expect the Bears to handle this situation. All right, what do you guys think is the better deal, better contract that Brad Spielberger, PFF, cooked up? You think it's Jaylon Johnson, type 1, for 5-year, $95 million with $47.5 guaranteed? Or do you think it's the Montez Sweat projection, 4 for 100 with $70 million guaranteed? What say you? Similar in total money, one less year for Sweat, obviously, and more guaranteed for Sweat as well. But to me, pass rusher is a little bit more important than corner, especially watching the Bears past few years. But we'll say it makes what Jaylon Johnson's doing, especially this year, that much more impressive that he's covering like this with no pass rush. 1 for Jaylon Johnson, 2 for Montez Sweat. What do you guys think is the better deal? And again, I want them both paid. I want them both here. You need them both here. You got to have blue chip players on this on your team to win. Both these guys can be just that. So get it done, Ryan Poles. Jaylon Johnson, Montez Sweat, both need to be here long term.